guys, it's Katie here, and today we're packing for my upcoming trip. I'm kind of super excited to show you what I'm taking with me and why. I love videos like this. I just love looking at what people take with them on their travels in terms of camera gear. And so I figured, why not just watch the videos when I can make one myself? So here we are. So let's just jump right into it. So the star of the show is my Sony a7 IV, Alpha 7 IV, however you want to say it. I've always just called it the a7 IV, so that's what we're gonna go with. I love this camera because I think it's an excellent hybrid camera. It does a bit of everything, and I think it does everything really well. While I do have to admit that it is a bit hefty compared to some other vlogging camera options and other hybrid options, I will say that it does make up for it in quality. I wanted to have a great hybrid system when I travel instead of having to take multiple camera bodies, because I do like to take photos and I have certain settings that I use for those, and I also like to take vlogs, videos, and I have certain settings that I use for those, and so having to juggle two camera bodies just gets a little tiring, and then I just don't feel like doing anything. So I figured having a one-stop option was the best fit for me. And that's how we got to the Sony a7 IV. So while we're talking about the a7 IV, I guess I'll talk to you about what I've got attached to it. This is the 16-35 f4 power zoom lens. It is my newest baby in my collection, and I am super happy with it. It's got a nice wide angle for vlogs, which I am a vlogger, so that's important to me. But it also goes to 35mm, which is one of my go-to focal lengths for just photos in general. So my thought process here was this was a great all-around lens, just keeping my camera full-time. But I'm also a little indecisive, so I will probably be taking another lens with me, just, you know, for variety purposes. So while we're on the topic of lenses, I guess we'll just talk about the elephant in the room, which is my 85mm 1.4. Now, I am aware that this lens is big a little bit.
She's big a little bit.
But the portrait quality is just amazing. I love it. This has become my go-to portrait lens. Like whenever I'm taking portraits of people, dogs, whatever, this is my go-to. So I'm thinking of slipping this in my bag, but you know, it is a little big. So I may change my mind on that later. But for now, she's coming with us. All right, moving on, let's talk about this compact powerhouse, the DJI Pocket 3. So this camera is really unique because it's got a 1-inch sensor like the ZV-1 and the G7X, which are very popular vlogging cameras, but it goes a step further and it adds the mechanical gimbal. So now you can get super smooth footage, super cinematic. You can do some cool things like a spin shot, like it's super cool, and I've been using this as my vlogging camera, just trying to like test it out. And I figured since I am going to be traveling, I will just do a full in-depth video on how this works as a travel camera. So be on the lookout for that video shortly. And by shortly, I mean in a couple of weeks. I mean, isn't this so cool? Like, it's just so little, and it fits in my purse because I don't really put things in my pocket, but it fits in my purse. And I've actually been taking this camera with me like every day. It just lives in my bag, and I can always just whip it out and start talking. And it's really helpful as a vlogger because sometimes I just want to be incognito and discreet, especially for us introverted people out there. So it just makes sense that this exists, and I highly recommend it if you are a new vlogger or you're just a little self-conscious. So I'm fully aware that I just said this has a 1-inch sensor similar to this camera. So why do I have the ZV-1 in my hand? Well, like I just said, I'm indecisive. So I am gonna take this camera with me, but not for vlogging, not for videos. This is literally just for photos. I wanted to take a little point and shoot with me because I haven't taken a point and shoot in a while, and I saw this camera sitting on my shelf and it kind of started to remind me of the RX100 series. So I figured I would take this and try to push myself to take more photos, and I already had it, so why not just slip it in my bag? Something else that's super important, but very, you know, it is what it is tripods. So I will be taking 2 little mini tripods with me. I've got the Manfrotto Pixie here, which everyone knows what the Manfrotto Pixie does. Like, it literally just does this. That's it. It gives your camera a stable base. But I really like this one because it is small, and I love how it fits in my hand. And I love that it just has this little button, so when you press this button down, you can like move the ball head, which I think is super convenient because having to like twist things sometimes just gets annoying. So I really love this one, and this one typically lives on my A7 IV when I'm vlogging, but sometimes I don't really want a low angle because it's not really good for my chin. It's not very flattering. It gives me a double chin situation. And so here comes the Ulanzi MT16. I originally got this one for my ZV-E10 and it's not rated for the A7 IV. Okay, she's a little too heavy for it, but I still use it anyway because this is like the coolest feature to me, and I think more mini tripods should have this feature. Isn't that so cool? So now I can lift the camera up, which gives me a better angle to remove some of that, okay, double chin. And then when I'm done, I just close her back up and she's back small. So sometimes my camera will be a little wobbly with it, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, she's not the most stable, but the extension piece really makes up for it. Now, do I always feel comfortable putting my A7 IV on here? No. Sometimes I am afraid that it will fall over and break. But if I know the surface is good, I know the surface is stable, like my kitchen counter, I'll just whip it out, lift her up, and I'll just feel so much better about myself because the low angles are just not it for me. Why am I like this? I have no clue why I'm like this. No clue at all. So I'm also taking a variable ND filter. This one is combo with a polarizer. It's by KNF Concept, and that's what it looks like. I also like that it has little notches, or what do you call these? The little handles, so you can actually like twist the filter, because sometimes they don't have that and you don't really know where you're going with your variable ND. Also very boring, but very important, SD cards. This is my little SD card case. It's a little cow case. I think it's super cute because I love Chick-fil-A, and you know, their whole thing is about cows. So it like made sense for me to pick this one. But in terms of SD cards, I use SanDisk. I've got a bunch. I will be taking all of these with me because I can 100% fill them up. But SanDisk has been my go-to brand for like a decade now. No complaints so far. I know some people use Sony Tough cards and things like that, but for me, in my use, it's just SanDisk is just, it just works. I know what I know, and I know SanDisk. Are we good? Are we good? I don't know. In terms of computers, I will probably have to take the MacBook Pro, which I'm a little scared about because she's big. She's a 16-inch MacBook Pro, but she does what I need her to do, which is 4K video editing, and she handles it like a champ. But I'm a little nervous because I never, ever travel with such a big laptop, and it freaks me out a little bit. Typically, I would take my MacBook Air, which also has a silicon chip in it, an Apple silicon chip, but she's been acting a little shady lately. She's not handling my video footage the way that she should, and she keeps saying I don't have any space on her, which is a lie because I do. I just don't know what system data is, and I'm trying to clean it up, so please someone help me. But I don't know. I think we're gonna be putting the MacBook Pro in her bag. Oh, scary, but I just don't want to be frustrated when I'm trying to edit in my downtime, because I do want to try to edit some footage while I'm away because I'm going to be away for so long, and it just makes sense to take the computer that I know can handle it, you know? It just makes sense in my head. I don't know. It makes sense, but it could be problematic because it's just so big, and I'm just so conscious about big things. I don't know. Speaking of downtime, I'm also going to be taking my iPad mini. This is the iPad mini 6, and I do like to read. I'm subscribed to Kindle Unlimited, so I just use this as my Kindle. I do have a Kindle Paperwhite, but it's slow. It's like really slow. I mean, I knew it was going to be slow, but it's like painfully slow. Also, it's not in color, which, I mean, it's for books, so like it makes sense. But I also read magazines, and I'm a child. I like to look at the pretty colors of the pictures, so I can read in color on here. It just makes sense. Please don't judge me, but I am obsessed with Monopoly Go. And so now I can play Monopoly Go on a bigger screen than my phone. And so when I'm just lounging by the pool, I can be Monopoly going, collecting that rent, okay? Building up my landmarks, shutting down yours. You know what I mean? So it just makes sense taking my little iPad. I mean, it's so small, it fits in any bag that I have. So just take it with you, you know, girl? Also, if you play Monopoly Go, please let me know so we can add each other and I can shut down your landmarks. Thank you. All right, guys, so that's all that I'm taking with me in my travel camera tech bag. I really don't know what to call it, okay, because we didn't pack a bag at all. We just talked about what we're gonna put in the bag. So titling is weird for me, but that's what I'm taking with me, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. And if I missed anything or you would take something different, let me know, because I love nerding out on that stuff, and you know, maybe it'll change my mind. I'm still really considering not taking the 85, but like I'm also considering taking it. Like I don't know, like I'm looking at it right now because I'm like, I just need to take it, but like I know I might not use it because it's so big, but it just makes sense for portraits. Like it's just so good. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed watching it. I had fun filming it. I do have some other ideas for videos on this channel, so please stick around if you're into that kind of stuff, because I'm into that kind of stuff. Anyway, keep creating, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.